Grab a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
The McAnally's Pubcast brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 9.22, Meep Meep, where we are covering the novel Summer Night. My name is Tanzan, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess.
Echo, Mike, Alpha. Thank you so much to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us keep doing what we're doing. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/freeflowrambling.
Chapter 32. Dresden defends the group using a magical shield that debilitates the Fey horses. Meryl is then struck down by Slate and Fix knocks him out in retaliation. Aurora begins to use the Unraveling on Lily at the stone table, but Dresden manages to stop her briefly, only to be detained by one of Aurora's spells and then attacked by one of the riders. So in defense of the oncoming slaughter, Dresden drops his blasting rod and uses his staff to produce a low magical shield against the legs of the Fey horses.
Yeah, so he notices that, instantly they all start doing, wards and mystical mojo movements and stuff like that, right? And he's like, well, fuck, there's no way I can hold up against all of these very bad guys. They can just zap my stuff like nothing. So he figures, a shield, but he's like, that'll just... So, yeah. He's like, but the horses are not doing any warding spells against themselves. So, if I just take out all the horses at the knees...
Let's just kick these horses in the shins. Boom!
Yeah!
This is another time that they get kicked in the shins.
Yeah.
The very, very, very first time I ever played D&D ever, I had to, do a session 0 basically, where it's just you and just the DM, and you go through your backstory or whatever like that, and how you get to meeting everyone else. It was literally the first time I ever played. I didn't even realize how to read the dice and things like that, right, and how to play the game. And I had to, basically, I was trying to be robbed. People were trying to rob me while on horses. So the first thing I did was shoot for the horses, and the DM was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Well, I've played video games before."
Right?
Similarly, first time I ever played Red Dead Redemption, my horse fell over and I was trying to get back on the horse, and I was just pressing A because that's how you get on the horse. In Red Dead Redemption, if your horse dies, and if you don't realize it's dead, as I didn't, and you're not reading the screen, when your horse dies, A for ride the horse becomes A for skin the horse.
Oh my.
So me and my friends, first time ever playing this game, we put it into the machine, I'm playing, I'm going around my turn, my horse falls down a mountain, I try to get back on the horse, skins it, shows you a skinned horse, and me and all my friends are just staring in horror at it oh my god, what did you do? And I was like, I don't know. So yeah, anyways, similarly, I totally get how Dresden had the idea to go after the horses.
Yeah, right? So, just like all the old wild westerns and stuff like that, it's it's pretty effective taking out the horses and things like that. So,
tried and true method.
Thankfully, this is all fictional, and these are all fictional Fey horses, and no actual horses were harmed in the making of this novel. So,
right. And it was pretty effective, this move.
It was hugely effective.
Slate is brought down. Unfortunately, Talos recovers super quick and then just continues his attack straight on Dresden.
Yeah, he's just a really fucking annoying, badass, high she kind of thing. That's all, let me just pull up my mystical, magical martial arts moves that are just going to be, he cannot, he instantly, just leaps from his horse as it starts to go down, and it's but Slate's because again, it's his just invisible wall of force, right? So there's nothing really to indicate
Slate's a dumb human.
He's just a dumb human, right? So the horses don't see it, the fairies don't see it, nobody, just all of a sudden the horses just start crumpling. And then, of course, they all just start falling and tripping over each other. So there's more madness and mayhem and trampling and just throwing people off kilter and whatever.
We've all seen Game of Thrones.
Speak for yourselves. But, yeah, we've all seen other movies with
Horse trampling
and wars, and so yes, very effective. Boom, takes them all out, gives the buddies and stuff like that a second to come in and pounce all over and get going on things.
Right, Meryl intervenes in the attack. Tallis questions her motives because of her struggles against Winter.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, I wonder how it was for Meryl to go to Dresden and be like, we've got this big problem, Winter's been harassing my friend Lily, now Lily's gone missing, and Dresden was like, alright, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sign up with Team Winter. Like, I could see, like, I understand Meryl went to Harry for Dresden, she's trusting Dresden, and I understand from our point of view, and now from Meryl's, how we would have trusted him to get to this conclusion, but it is fair to also be like, bro, the one group of people that I was like, can't be on my team, hate these guys, don't want to be them. It's basically like if you grow up your whole life like having this bully, and then you become an adulthood, and it's like the guy you marry, like that's his best friend, and you're like, really? We gotta invite him to the wedding? He's gotta like come to our house now? Like I hate that guy, right? But your husband's like, no, he's like totally changed, he's totally awesome, blah blah blah.
But wasn't Dresden already allied
He
with
really
him?
was when she went to him.
Tuke could already smell Winter on him. Like, so I would think that maybe...
Yeah, he was, because he was aligned. I mean, that was the very
Mab
start
got him
of the
first.
book.
Mab got him first, but still,
It's got to be. I don't know.
He entrenched himself further in the events of the book than when just Mab was in his office somewhat threatening him to.
I was going to say maybe it's one of those kind of like, like your dickhead family or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you hate them and they suck, but at the same time, like, that is your family. You know?
I feel like Meryl has a little bit of a reason to hate her family, but...
you know?
Right.
Right, but at the same time, that's... Yeah, no, I know.
Talk about daddy issues.
Right? It would be, but like you say, he was sort of... Right.
When your daddy's family is 50% of the population.
Basically, Dresden has been saying from the start, like, okay, I'm working for Winter, but I'm not with Winter. You know, it's what he was saying to Toot, it's what he was saying to Meryl, it's what he was saying to Mab, it's what he was saying to anybody and everybody that'll listen. And
except everyone's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, and I mean, there is that, right? Like,
all
it's
right,
like, you say that, but you're working with him, like, you know, but...
I'm not sure you understand how the Fae work, Dresden.
As we've already established clearly time and time again with this, that...
Also, it doesn't help that he literally has family with Winter through Leah.
Yeah. Well, I can see, I guess, whatever, that I guess by the time she was ready to put her eggs in that basket and trust him for help, that it might as well just be like, I guess I gotta take you. And they're not really siding with Winter here. I mean, again, they're still just doing it for the main ends of stopping, you know, the war and the insanity that Aurora is going with. It just so happens that Winter will back them up on this because they're technically on that side. Yeah, I guess basically, like you say, it's they're kind of like the independents, sort of, Meryl and Harry and the werewolves, but they have just a slight edge on the wind, you know, I guess, that basically, yeah, like Summer's gonna stop them just because Summer is Summer and they don't know what's going on and it's Winter, right? And then Winter, again, it's kind of for the same reason. It just so happens that they're like, well, we figure it's for our side. Like, we hired him, so it's got to be worth whatever, right? But, yeah.
Who would double cross? That's not the whole point of this book.
Right?
That being said, though, Meryl does take a good point, you know? She's like, bitch, like, how can you even be happy with this Tallis? Like, why are you even doing this? And he's like, well, you know, I don't necessarily like it, but, you know, she's my queen. Gotta do what the queen says.
Yeah.
Meryl, boss bitch. She's not mine.
Queen.
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, you do get kind of a nice thing. Because, like you say, once, you know, the horses are all and people are start recovering, and Tallis comes after Harry right away, and he's knocked on his ass or whatever, right? And, yeah, she does the cool sort of, you know, like her machete and her axe, and does the catch the sword thing, and, you know, basically just comes in kind of all badass right there, right? Giving him his chance to recover and stuff like that. We haven't seen, other than that, Meryl's just some changeling, you know what I mean? But it's like, I guess she's got something going for her. Apparently she does somewhat know how to use this axe and this machete.
It's a pretty badass moment.
It's a pretty badass moment, yeah. And then exactly, right, where he's like, I don't understand, changeling. Like, why are you fighting? She's like, why are you fucking fighting? And But exactly, yeah. Not my queen.
Unfortunately, Slate does recover and attacks Meryl with his sword and impales her.
Underhanded fucking psycho sleazebag, which is Slate right from the start. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
He gets her good.
But nonetheless, I get, right? Like, there's
stab in the ribs and go up.
There's no fair in war, I get, but yeah, it's a nasty move, and I know, and the just like exactly like shoves it up under, and then with a twist and pop, and it's just like, oh god, Butcher, no, ugh.
Yeah, Butcher, what the fuck?
Right.
How to ensure death.
Oh, God. Yeah, right. Like, this is just a nasty fatal. Like, there's no coming back from this one. That's
Yeah, so Meryl
the impalement itself, but you've guaranteed that with a twist.
Just kind of, slice a few things up and around and
not great.
Maximum damage. No.
Not how I'd want to go.
No.
Of all the ways I think I'm going to go, I don't think it's going to be that one.
That one's pretty low on the list.
Talking about your bullying and stuff like that, right? Like, Slate and Meep.
For Slate to get the final kill, too?
Yeah, like, that was one of the biggest reasons how they ended up in the first place is because he wouldn't fucking leave them alone, and they, it was fun just picking on them and torturing them and whatever, you know what I mean? So they specifically tried to get away from that. So, yeah, just more, insult to injury, whatever, that Slate gets this. This is Slate in a nutshell, too, so of course he's going to take the cheap shot.
Certainly been set up well for that moment.
Well, right, exactly, win at all costs kind of a thing. And when it's Harry taking the cheap shots and winning at all costs, we're like, yeah, dude, whatever it takes, right? But
it's great when it's your man.
It's it's not so, it's like censorship. It's like, you don't want anybody to stop what you're saying. It's okay if you stop what everybody else is saying. But exactly, right? I'm like, if you don't want to be censored, I guess you can't censor anyone else. So there you go. It's just messy and icky. And Fix does not take kindly to it.
No.
Fix. And I have to, I kept wanting to bug Jess because it was actually just in one of the last ones where one of the last episodes we released when Harry's coming out of the mother's house. And we were talking about how he gets to the conclusion that Korik is the unicorn and Talos is Grum and da-da-da-da-da. And Jessica's like, he picks up on these, like, specific sort of
same
descriptive words and things like that. And now it's driving me nuts because I've been listening to these chapters, and there's one thing where it's like, or I'm like, Harry and Fix are the same person or something like that because he uses something to like describe them, and now I'm like, damn it, I don't remember. Oh, maybe it's the dandelion. Maybe you think he says to me that he's described Toot as having like this little puff of like dandelion hair, and he describes Fix as having like this little puff of like blonde dandelion hair, and then Lee is like, get a haircut, you look like a dandelion, and I'm like, aha, Harry is really Toot, is really Fix, is really... It was really funny at the time when I was
Maybe that's to indicate some of
no.
some job prospects coming up in the boys' future.
Right. Yeah, Harry's going to turn into it. Harry's going to go from a 6.5 foot tall wizard to like a 6.5 inch tall pixie.
As you see Toot Toot getting bigger and bigger throughout the series, it's like, wait a second, Dresden, have you lost height?
Wait, spoilers. But yeah, there you go. It's just on the...
I will throw in now, since you brought it up, that this is not the first time that Dresden has used descriptive words for characters that we'll meet later on in the books. This was like the fastest he's revealed.
Yeah.
But there are people and descriptions that we got in book like 1, 2, 3 that we're going to get again in like book 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13.
Yeah. It's really, because I think that was one of them, but I can't remember for sure if that was like the one, because I feel almost more like there was like a specific thing. And I kept on now. I'm like really mad at myself that I didn't
write it down.
Yeah, I kept meaning to. I was always like driving and things like that, and I always kept meaning to make sure. And I was like, damn it, where was that other connection of where it was like, the exact, something like you used to describe him and then somebody else later. But anyways, Dresden is just everybody. Every character is Dresden. That's all you need to know in the end.
So
that's going to be the big reveal.
It's like Andy Weir's The Egg. Our audience has read it, even if you guys haven't. So.
Is that the Martian thing? The Weir? Andy Weir?
He wrote The Egg, and he wrote The Martian.
And
Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary. I didn't know The Egg was another book. I've heard Project Hail Mary and The Martian and stuff, but anyways. Okay. Alrighty.
So Dresden is now pissed.
Well, so the nice thing is, as sad as it is that Meryl died, every time someone dies, Harry really is like, boost, adrenaline, let's go.
Now you've
So as much as I'm sorry you had to die, Meryl, but this is what we needed
She's
for
not
Harry.
dead yet.
I know, but we're not there yet, Mom.
I'm not dead yet.
We think she's dead, okay? Cut that, okay? Cut that part, Tanzan.
No, but yes, we know that she's basically been mortally injured or whatever, yes. And he does. Okay, I get it. But again, much as you mock, like, the bad guys for their, like, overlord villain speeches and stuff like that, you know? I'm like, you do the same thing. Like, Slate's all busy taking down Meryl, and Harry's got to jump up and go, Slate, and get his Slate, you murdering bastard, make sure all your attention is over here on me so that when I go to do something against you, you're well prepared to block my attack. I'm like, I guess, whatever, we'd all
not
do
thinking
this.
very straight
No,
at this
you
point.
don't.
He's
And
just seen red.
Yeah, and I do understand that. And, you know, again, same thing in that moment. Sure, I'd probably be. But it's just, again, like, I'm the newbie. I don't normally do this. This is not my everyday job, is to get in fights and kill things and do magical whatever. Even at this point, even though we're only book 4, we're still, relatively speaking, early into Dresden's, you know, career and big cases. I'm like, you've been in enough scrapes by now. You know, just fucking shoot him in the back of the head and move on. Why are you know what I mean? But he doesn't.
Makes for good drama.
It is part of a strategy, though, to, you know, get the attention on yourself so they stop attacking the people around you. But obviously, yes, if he just snuck up behind him and, like, shot him in the back of the head, that would have been...
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, that's what he did. He's busy, you know, eviscerating Meryl or whatever. He could have just taken him out in that moment, but I don't know.
Listen,
whether it's instinct,
if Harry
whether it's
shut the
trauma,
fuck up, it'd be a lot shorter books.
Well, there is this too. We've said that before as
Dramatic
well.
effect. Dramatic effect.
Yes. So yes,
You're not gonna win an Emmy or a Grammy
bastard.
without a speech, okay?
Right.
Alright, so Dresden calls out for a thunder spell and attacks Slate with it. And the spell knocks everyone back, but Talos, who has managed to pull up.
Just fuck her.
He pulled a guard up in the right time.
Yeah, again, as soon as he's like, Slate, he's like, uh-oh, here we go again. And he does his little mumbo-jumbo. But yeah, I like, and this is, again, you know, nice little callback to Stormfront and whatever, right? He just reaches down into that storm. It's like, wait a minute, I can use the storm for power.
This is a stupid idea, but I'm gonna do it!
I am standing on the storm this time. I don't even have to, like, suck it down all the way to Earth. I can just, like, suck it up through my feet here. But yes, does a nice little thunder lightning spell thing. And it hits him, and it shocks him, and it, you know, but it doesn't put him down for the count.
Right.
So yeah, so he reaches down to the storm, whatever, lost everything. So it does kind of, like I say, it doesn't put Slate down for the count, but it, you know, like I say, knocks him off his feet for the moment, and of course not Talus. So Dresden reaching for the blasting rod, and, you know, fires off a quick shot that he, of course, you know, just doesn't even bother to gesture aside at this point. He's like, yeah, whatever, you can't touch me. He goes and kicks... Yeah, he kicks his blasting rod or staff away or whatever, right? And of course, you know, he's all deafened from his own spell or whatever. And he just gets his hearing back, of course, nicely, just in time to be able to hear Talos say, and so it ends. And Harry, of course, gets another great line and he's like, damn right it does. Look down. And again, this is where everybody pauses and looks and talks and does stuff, you know. I'm like, again, Talos, you could have just ended it all right here. But whatever, I get it too. I mean, you're right there in that moment. I would have looked, I'm sure. And lo and behold, while he has, you know, disarmed him from his staff and blasting rod, which apparently Harry somewhat intentionally intended for him to do, sort of made it obvious that he was so, you know, the old sleight of hand,
oh no, my blasting rod, what'll I do now?
Yeah, the distract and, you know, look over here. Yeah, he's pulled out his big ass gun.
Yes.
Which again,
Boom!
boom, his big old dirty Harry special. And
not only does he shoot him with it, he beats him with it, with the metal part.
Starts clubbing him with the gun.
Yeah. So he takes it, so he catches him and does knock him off his feet, because it is like a high caliber, you know, big impact sort of a thing, but because of his armor and all of that, and again, it's good, because he says the steel didn't even, like, rip through, so there just wasn't enough in the substance of this bullet, or he's got extra special fancy armor that is even somewhat repellent to, or will withstand or hold up against steel or whatever. But nonetheless, it does knock him off his feet, and before he can get a chance to do anything else, Harry just boots him in the face with his big, you know, combat boots or whatever he's wearing this time around. And then, yeah, exactly, just starts pistol whip, like just beating the crap out of him with this big ass gun. And that is enough that he cannot recover from in time. And yeah, I mean, both the beating and just exactly the power of the steel against it. So yeah, kind of makes a bit of a mess there too. Again, doesn't kill him because he's a stupid freaking she, but...
Well, and Slate attacks, despite having a broken arm with a spear hitting Dresden, and takes away that gun.
So, is this where... Is
and
his
arms
arm
himself
broken
with it.
yet, or is this where he breaks it?
It's hanging uselessly at his side.
It does already, okay, yeah. So
and does not actually do a villain speech at this point, just goes for the shot.
And again, right, this is where Slate, does not always waste a lot of time. Again, same thing, he just fucking snuck up behind Meryl and
takes those cheap shots.
And same thing, right? He's like, I'm not gonna waste time here. Like, obviously Dresden can, like, he's been, I mean, not that was part of the fairy plan, but I'm sure they heard about it. But, he got away from the friggin' open attack in the park in the opening chapter, survived the Walmart with all kinds of different types of, there was a gunman, there was a mind fog, there was magical beasts, there was ogres, manages to, and, get away from Aurora and her quicksand, and, he's just like, okay, fucking this guy's just gotta go down, like, there's no more dicking around, no more. But yeah, Slate is finally getting the point here, like, there's no point in dicking around and wasting and whatever, right? Like, you just gotta put him down fast and without all the drama and the chances and the, gut are done, because obviously this guy does not go down easily and has managed to survive everything so far. So for good or bad, I mean, now we're getting to the direct point, but now we're also like, well, don't do that. We don't actually want him dead, Slate.
I know we mock the villain speech, but we like that you do it because it gives our good guy time to do stuff.
Exactly.
Well, at least fortunately in this case, Fix comes and attacks the hell out of Slate with that monkey wrench.
Fucking Fix.
So
goes
this is
to town.
So this really, I mean, it's kind of funny when you stop and think about it. So here we have this big fairy battle, right? This is what they're going up. They have to climb a magical stairway of like congealed starlight. They're up on the quote unquote clouds. I mean, it's somewhere in the never. It's not necessarily, but it's effectively, as far as Harry and them can process. They're basically just up in the clouds. Fighting, and everything. I mean, you've got two extremely powerful magical sides. You've got wizard, you've got shape-shifting werewolves, and when it comes right down to it, it's fucking physical brutality. Meryl's getting gutted with his sword. He's beating the crap out of Talos with his gun and shooting at him. Fix is attacking with a big-ass fucking monkey rake, you know what I mean? I'm like, none of the spells, they can all counter each other's spells, they're all blowing stuff off, but this is basically what it comes down to. It's
Harry said it before, no one expects a wizard to have a gun, no less than the fairies who eat, breathe, and sleep magic.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's the thing, is that it's all coming off of whatever. I mean, there's certain advantage, like, again, he's got the advantage of the werewolves being werewolves as opposed to just a bunch of other humans up there with him, and like, Billy will make a point here shortly that they had an advantage over the horses because horses are, even if they're, fey horses,
they're not sentient.
Yeah, their horses are horses. They were still scared of the wolves and they could attack at that. And like you say, the horses, the same thing is why his wall work. The horse themselves don't have defenses against it, right? But as much as like their armor and their abilities, and Dresden can block this and he can bring up that, I'm like, basically war is war. It comes down to the same thing, is that you basically just have to brutally bludgeon each other and just kill death, it doesn't really matter.
By any means possible.
And the fact that how you're willing to get there that fast too, I mean, like Fix and Meryl and them weren't fighters per se. I mean, they were like survivors. And I mean, I think there's a huge difference between, like a schoolyard fist fight against bullies and this all out, war and stuff like that they're going through now, right? And whereas, Meryl, I'm sure, has been in a few scrapes in her time, Fix not so much, right? He's described the entire way as just being kind of a small, mousy, quiet, nervous sort of guy, right? Like, that he's essentially, the coward, if not easily intimidated. Well, I was going to say, I mean, there's cowardly, like Slate is cowardly in the sense of not dishonorable either, but no integrity or whatever, you know what I mean? Whereas it's not, Fix is an honorable coward, I guess, is what I'm trying to, you know what I mean? like, it's just fair. He's not a very imposing person. He doesn't have a lot of imposing skills. He's been put, you know what I mean? Like, it's just naturally, he's just like, what the fuck am I going to do against all of this or whatever, right?
Fix is very morally good.
Yeah, morally good, and just, you know, like you say, just circumstances and whatever, you know, the misfortune of being a changeling, the misfortune of not really fitting in with Winter, you know, he's not a force of power, he's not a bully, he's just a dude.
Although I shouldn't say entirely morally good, because he does beat the Winter
Well,
Knight to
and
death.
this is what I mean, right? This is where you get all of a sudden,
revenge is a bitch.
when push comes to shove, he's not taking it right, and especially, you know,
Good men do horrible things in war.
right? It's like that Doctor Who episode. What is it when a good man goes to war, but he's like, there's the beginning of that.
Right. Oh,
You should be worried when a good man goes to war, or whatever. Damn it, I'm gonna have to before.
Demons run when a good man goes to war.
Night will fall and the dark will rise when a good man goes to war. Demons run, but count the cost. The battle is won, but the child is lost. That was the Doctor Who one. Is it just from there? Quote by Stephen Moffat: Demons run when a good man goes to war. Yeah, I guess.
Fucking Stephen Moffat.
I know, right? Of all the people to quote.
The anger of a good
I don't
man.
want to like his writing, but I do.
wanna like it either.
It's just-
oh, fuck, damn it.
Yeah, see, Madam Cavarian. The anger of a good man is not a problem. Good men have too many rules. Doctor, good men don't need rules. Today is the day to find out why I have so many. But yes, exactly. And that's... but yeah, so this is the thing, you know, Fix, who's kind of been like, what do we do? What do we do? And like, okay, I want to help. You know, like, again, he's got that sense of morality, compassion. You know, he's like, Lily's in trouble. I got to go help. Meryl's going, I'm going. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Fiercely loyal to his friends.
Fiercely loyal to his friends. Thank you. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. Like, you
A
know,
little bit, he's never had his own direction, but he's always wanted to be the one to help or whatever. So Meryl's a little bit more on the go, cutting
yeah,
whatever.
he's not the leader. He's
Yeah.
not, you know, the natural born commanding presence that will get people. But he's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I'll do it. Like, yeah. Like,
Some people
what-
are born
you
to
know.
support.
Yeah,
Follow,
exactly. Right? Like, that's the thing is, he's fiercely loyal. He's there to stand up for his friends, stick up for his friends, do what he can, when, you know, whatever that may be. And it's like, you know, there's got to be some, because like you say, he hauls out this friggin' toolbox, and that Harry basically says looks like heavy as fuck, but he's like just, you know, lugs it up onto his shoulder like he does it all the time, and da-da-da-da-da. And then exactly like, you know, at the start of this, right, he plunks it down and pulls out this, you know, big old monkey. And that's the thing, too, that I love. It's just like this big, giant, like, plumber's pipe. It's not like some, just like a wrench, you know what I mean? He's like, it's big. And those things, if you've never seen or held one, like...
Who killed Colonel Mustard?
They're...
With a pipe wrench.
Right?
In the library.
Possibly, or the ballroom, or the conservatory, but
They have been known to kill before.
they have been known to kill before.
And will again.
And will again. And I have actually seen like 3-4 foot long pipe wrenches that weigh
They can get
tens
intense.
of pounds of like, yeah, right? So I mean, even like, you know, I remember my dad had like a half decent, maybe like, I don't know, a foot long or something that was like, you would fucking hurt to get belted with that. But yeah, this thing that, so yeah, basically, Fix has reached his breaking point. He's now at the limit of, he knows what does it take to get Fix to cross that line, to lose his cool, to not, you know, to overcome his fears and cowardice and what ifs.
And fuck the violence part of it. It's like, Fix fucking breaks when, like, he goes to lift up Meryl and is like, help me. That part is like, oh, now I'm broken.
Meryl, help me. So, yeah, exactly. And right, again, you could just, like, Butcher, I just feel, is very good at, with, you know, simple descriptions, simple words, but you feel that, you know what I mean? There's no big, huge, you know, explanation of, you know, describing Fix, and you know, it's
He's
just
very good at
literally-
laying the groundwork for who you're supposed to like and who you're supposed to hate.
Well,
so when
yeah,
someone
but
gets a
just very simply.
monkey wrench to the face, you're like, fuck yeah. And when somebody collapses and is like, help me, you're like, oh.
But yeah, like I say, I mean,
Right,
that's
right.
all it is. Like, it just, all he has to say is, you know, Fix is trying to pick up Meryl and is like, help me, and you immediately can feel that
Devastated.
intensity and that devastation. Yeah, exactly, right? You know, Harry goes to, right, Harry's like, shit, because he has still just been knocked around by Talos and by Slate, and a little bit his own spell, because we always know, you know, that takes...
Some blowback, yeah.
Yeah, there's the blowback, plus there's just the
Loss of energy.
the physical output and everything, the toll that it takes on Harry that way, right? But he is a little stunned and concussed and whatever, right? And he's trying to get up to go help, and Billy pushes past him, and right, so you're like, oh yeah, you still got these guys all look great, and again, getting that arm under and helping him up and stuff like that, but
Werewolves the werewolves creating their protective barrier around them.
Right. Yes, right, all forming up to sort of block them in.
And then they check on Meryl, who insists on them checking on Harry instead.
I know, and she's like, no, I'm okay, but yeah, you gotta save the wizard. Like, if he goes down, none of us get out of here, right? Which, again, is very true, but we're not, again, it's great that she's thinking this far ahead in it, because I don't know that anybody else really, I mean, again, that's,
but you can't help but like her more because of that moment. Like, no, not me, him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, selfless.
Her exact quote is like, see to the wizard. If he goes down, none of us are going home. Which
is what I just said.
Oh, did you? I wasn't listening to you.
Obviously.
Cut mine. I just heard you talking about
that's hilarious.
The general. I didn't hear you quote it exactly.
That's hilarious. But okay. But yes. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? No. Cut Mom's.
She always gets the quotes. Fuck her. Yeah, it's that selfless moment, and it's that, maybe she's not quite, because she's not down and out yet, and she's still like, no, I'm okay, we need to, but exactly just that realization that, if he doesn't come out, whatever else is going to go down in this thing, we're not going to just walk away from it or whatever, like, he is our only hope to get in and out, whether he stops it or not, he's our ticket out of here kind of a thing, and we're hoping it's because he stops it, but, yeah, but another very descriptive. There's a lot of, like, bone crunching. Like, again, when Fix goes to town on Slate, you're just like,
I do like this one moment, though, when I think that there's a miscommunication between Billy and Meryl. When Billy's trying to talk to Harry, and he's like, you're good, man? Like, and Harry's like, yeah, just give me a minute. And Billy's like, right, we're going to have to run for it, Harry. There's more fight coming towards us. And Meryl is like, we can't run. Aurora still has Lily. And I really feel like it's like, Billy's like, we're going to have to run towards them now and get this problem solved quick. And Meryl is more like, we can't run away and abandon now. We got this far.
Maybe, okay. I guess it could be. I mean, I sort of get where Billy, I think, maybe is talking a little bit more practically, like, this is backing
I feel like Billy's like, we gotta hustle if we're gonna do this. And Meryl's like, what do you mean run away? And I took it to mean, like, the miscommunication there where Meryl is like, what do you mean we're giving up? And Billy's like, no, we just gotta hustle and, like, get this shit over with. Like, we're taking too many hits. If we're gonna do this, we gotta do it.
Yeah.
Not, let's abandon everything now, right? I don't think Billy wants to abandon. He's the alpha. He knows how important this shit is and why they're here. And I think, for the most part, as much as Billy can be crazily more rational than Harry, he still fully is with the Harry fight. He gets, like, we're here to protect people, save people. Everyone here signed up for this shit.
Same investment.
Let's do what the fuck we came here to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't think he's, like, suggesting that they abandon ship. I think he is just like, we gotta get to this.
Yeah, maybe. It is kind of hard to, and I mean, again, like you say, rush the battle, blah, 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 blah. It's I'm not quite sure. I never really thought about it too much over one way or the other of whether it was a miscommunication or, they're talking about the same thing and just whatever, but either way, yeah, exactly right. It's like they don't really have time to figure out much of a game plan or anything because, Billy's like, talk later, here they come, and,
right.
Blur's back.
Enter Maeve.
Enter Maeve.
I love that. So you see a bunch of winter she warriors come up from the river and start taking out these summer warriors, and this one warrior just freezes this opponent and it shatters them. Right. Which, of course, turns out to be Maeve.
From, inside out, yeah. Not just, freeze them like Mr. Cold freeze ray or anything either. It's like you can see this guy starts to...
Also...
wonderful brutality of it.
Yeah, gross. This is how I just said enter Maeve, and it's very much like a play where it's like every 5 seconds somebody's coming out from stage left and they've got a new person to meet and you're like, fuck, can we just get to the climax already? Like, how many costumes are going to come out here?
Yeah, right.
And it almost doesn't feel like it when you're going through the book, but this one battle's made you realize just how many motherfuckers we met in this book, because it's like every 5 feet it's like, here's Lloyd, here's Talos, here's Maeve. It's like, god damn it, can we not get 10 feet down this battleground without having to fucking meet someone?
No, that's a problem.
Even the next writer that they mention here, another winter writer entity, and it sounds like it's a Jen, the green one. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, yeah, you're
Jenny
right.
Green Teeth.
Yeah, I don't think
every
she's one of the
one.
Yeah, she wasn't one of the riders, but she's with them because I think they knock somebody into the river or something, and she sucks them down.
Pulls a summer warrior.
Yeah. So, but yeah, exactly right. It's and again, it's this the enemy of your enemy and Vader turning and the whole, right? Here's Meep, who fucking sucks and is a psychopath and, again, has been half the problem because if she
doing them a solid at this point.
It's doing them a solid, right? If she wasn't torturing Lily and Meryl and letting, Lloyd do it all.
Once for all that evil stuff, she'd be great.
She'd be great, right? And but that's it. But at the same time, yeah, she's quote unquote on his side right now. It's like this is still coming up, and she's there still to save the day in that moment and even out the odds again for them a little bit, which they desperately needed right now because. And again, in this, Harry says as anybody else in any other, show, media, whatever, no plan survives the opening strike or whatever, no battle goes as, right? So it's like they knew they were going up into a war, but again, until they actually were hip deep in it, how are you going to react? What are you going to be able to pull out, right? So, but now the wolves are like, okay, now we know what they're coming at us with. And they're like, okay, now we know these mortals are gonna try and bash our brains in with a fucking
monkey wrench.
Like, okay,
or their gun,
or what, right? You know what I mean? It's like everybody, right? So that's it. It's that first one. They sort of went rushing in there, and you're like, oh shit, okay. I get what's going on now.
Regroup
right?
and make a strategy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And they don't really have that opportunity because now they are all dazed and battered and what the fuck. So yeah, it's again really impeccable and impeccable because Meep was waiting for her point. I would have helped out sooner, but that would have been a fair fight, and I avoid those.
Your godmother sends her greetings.
Which I get, and I totally agree with, but at the same time, it's like, your side's getting their ass kicked, though, like, hello.
I do love...
There's that sadistic side.
There, right.
I do love that, like, after she gives her advice and sends them on their way and they start to go, she's just like, hi, Lloyd, we should talk.
Yeah,
it's like, good. Fuck you, Lloyd.
Right. So, yeah, apparently Fix did not, completely bash all of his brains out.
But pretty darn close.
Well, again, right? I mean, just, breaking his other wrist and just, like, wailing on him like that. Like, it just, and again...
You bring a human to a fairy fight.
And again, I can see that fury and that anger, right? Like, I mean, I've never gotten to the point where I've actually, like, beat the shit out of somebody in that sense.
But damn if I wanted to.
But damn if I... I have had that one or two moment where you do feel that impassioned and you're ready to just doesn't usually involve those scenarios.
Remind me to tell you about the bus driver yesterday.
Ugh.
I want that bitch to die.
Yeah. This was dumb. But yeah, exactly. Right.
Ruined my whole day.
I'm not, as these things do.
So they start running upriver because Maeve's got that defended. Maeve,
she's
done something.
She's done something. She's held off the immediate, so clears a path. Like, okay, now you guys can get going again. So yeah, he can see Aurora at the top of the hill with
Corric's placing Lily upon the stone table.
Unfortunately, Meryl's not gonna make it. She's like, run without me. You'll be okay. You promised, right, Harry? You're going to take care of...
Well, yeah, they all start going up, and you hear the Lily, and realize that, wait, Meryl doesn't sound too good. Meryl doesn't sound strong and imposing, and, like, she's... Because I think she tried, I don't know if it's here just before, because I think that's it. Maybe it was when she first started getting up again, and Fix is like, Meryl is like, I thought you were hurt bad, and she's like, I don't know, most of it's not mine, and Dresden's like, I totally knew she was lying. And here you can see here's the truth of that lie coming out, that, like, she's not nearly as good as she tried to pretend she was. And yeah, Fix is all, she's like, get her, Fix, save her, you take her home, and he's like, ah. But, yeah, and then, I don't know, I she's like, turns to Harry, and she's like, you'll help him, he's like, you paid for it, and I'm like, yes, you did, and I get, like, I don't know if I like that line or not.
Sorry, which one?
She's like, help him, and Harry is like, you paid for it. I'm like, well, you're gonna help them no matter what. Like, especially here and now in the middle of this scenario, you're not gonna leave anybody to...
I could see it coming across as a dick thing to say, right? But at the same time, I could understand it as being, like, extra reassuring if that's, like, if you're talking to someone who really deals in money, that could be more reassuring for them to be like, yeah, you've paid for it, which for them could be, the highest of the highest promises.
And maybe, like, in this case, right, where she's like, I don't know where your loyalties lie or wherever, and he's like, no, you hired me to do this job, I'll see your job through, which is saving Lily, like, whatever, I know, but it's just that, like, that's
but,
what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
Meryl's not the kind of person that I feel like needs the money talk more than anything else, right?
Yeah, it's just, and again, I don't know, I'm like, again, maybe it's just one of those dumb things, like,
Men are talking and you have to roll your eyes no matter what they say.
Maybe, I don't know, or like, same thing, right? When it doesn't
This is an all-woman podcast for a reason. No kidding.
Oh, some days more than others.
So Harry tells Fix to stay with Meryl, and they all rush the stone table.
Yeah, and Aurora sends Cork down to meet them. So Harry very quickly is like, ooh, this guy's big bruiser, don't close with him. And Billy's like, check that.
Right. Tells Billy to distract him.
Yeah, he's like, he's gonna stomp you into oatmeal, like, just, yeah. So yeah, everybody scatters, does their thing. Harry makes it.
And Aurora starts using the Unraveling on Lily at this point.
Right, she's been put down. She immediately is slapping this thing on her and going to work.
and Dresden blasts Aurora with a wind spell that snatches the Unraveling from within Aurora's grasp. I caught it, stuck my tongue out at Aurora and yelled, meep, meep, and ran like hell.
And Marsters does a fantastic Roadrunner here, too. It's awesome. He does it really well on the audiobook. It's like, I love hearing him.
I'll have to listen to that. I'm so guilty of not listening to any of the audiobooks. Like,
oh, no.
I start to listen to them and I
just
fall
read
asleep.
like a loser?
I just fucking read.
I
even have a Kindle.
That's why you're so much further behind. You do it while you don't listen to the radio.
Have you ever seen me make my notes? I actually put the book up on one screen here, and I put the notes up on the other screen here, and I write my notes while I'm reading.
Which is good and fantastic, and why you have all of those notes, and why I forget to get things jotted down. But you still absorb a little bit. You listen to it while you're showering. You listen to it while you're driving to work, and then you
that's your guys' job. My job is I don't remember any of this, so this isn't my instantaneous reaction as I'm reading it.
It does kind of work for that
but
way,
unfortunately,
too.
it takes me forever to do it.
But it's it's the whole.
It is convenient for me to just listen at work.
Right.
Yeah, rather than sit there with a book open.
I don't have the attention span for that. I would be like working and then just stop and just be like listening, and then would fall asleep.
I need to be like moving when I listen to an audiobook and doing something. I can't just listen to an audiobook while I sit at home.
Stuck my tongue out at Aurora and yelled, meep, meep, and ran like hell.
Like, he does it really good. Like, he sounds like a fucking little car horn.
That was good.
And ran like hell.
Unfortunately, Aurora throws her own spell back at Dresden and retrieves the Unraveling.
He's like, I got it.
I will say, though, in this moment, Aurora yells, damn the wizard. First time I ever read it, I heard, damn these wizards.
I think I like that better.
Right? And it's like, it's not just Harry, it's like, motherfucking wizards.
Always with the wizards. Fucker. So it is a great, just, again, just when everything's getting really dark and heavy and people are dying, just that touch of levity to, okay, come on, Harry.
This is what we love them.
Lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, this is okay, it's all going to be fine. Harry's making Roadrunner noises, like, we can get out of this.
Harry, this isn't a Looney Tune.
Well, unfortunately, not only does she throw her own spell back, but she uses another spell to create this huge, thick hedge of thorns.
Yeah, so she pins him down with this wind. Like, first kind of knocks him, he goes rolling down the hill, and he's just about to get up, and he's like, boom, slam back against the ground, right? And he's like trying, cannot, and then she just walks over and like rips it out of his hand again or whatever.
Listen, you can't have a character named Aurora without having some fucking Briarwood around.
Well, there is that. There is that.
Connection.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, yes. Yeah. But then exactly, and then she's like, no more interruptions. Exactly, and tries to put this big wall up between them all around the top of the hill or whatever here where she's, right? So he's still trying to get out of this, and he's like realizing he can't just bully, like he's not going to let up. So okay, he's got to do something, but he can't just blast at it because he's just going to blast himself apart with it or whatever if he just hammers at it, right? Like with so many things. So he starts trying, he's like, okay, I'm going to have to, take a second, calm down. Like, I got to lockpick this thing, not dynamite it or whatever, right? And while he's trying to take a moment and collect himself, all hell is breaking loose, has broken loose, is long since
actively broken.
Like, hell's been there for a while. And, right, he starts to hear everything else. He hears like, Harry, help! And the werewolves are, like, screaming, and he's like, I can't concentrate on, like, oh, fuck, right? So he's desperately, like, needs to hold it together to get this. Yeah, and he's desperately wants to just, rush in there and help them and save them, but he can't rush in and help them until he saves himself, but but he can't save himself because he's too busy about wanting to. And all of a sudden, here comes.
Yeah, he doesn't get much of a chance to do anything because another mounted she-warrior starts to attack.
Right. So again, the other one we'd kind of seen peripherally that hadn't done anything yet, but they're riding up and leveling the spear at his head, and he's all, wait, no, and brings it, drives it down at his unprotected throat.
This concludes our episode 9.21, Meep. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.